Since America with Eden Cornell. Yeah.
And good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday morning. It is November the 18th. Happy Friday, everybody. We have made it to November 18th. I can't believe it. I can't believe we are less than a week from Thanksgiving. What happened in November? Where did November go? Well, I tell you what, it is coming on, and Christmas is literally right in front of us. Are you guys ready for Black Friday? Are you ready for the sales? Are you ready for your travel? Are you ready with cooking in the kitchen? Are you ready with your holiday meals and traditions? Well, this morning we will be bringing to the show Money Talk with Melanie. She is a friend, she is a colleague, and she is a Jersey girl. And we're going to be talking all things savings, getting ready for Black Friday, 2023 projections, and how we can save money for a budget. Also, what are some of the great sales for Black Friday? And then also our traveling for now for Thanksgiving all through the Christmas holiday season. So we have a lot of kitchen table topics we're going to be bringing to you this morning. She'll be joining the show in just about 5 minutes. And then also later in the show, we are going to bring over to the show Dr. Mark Harris, who's with Family Research Council. We are going to be talking about the Marriage Protection Act that was discussed in the Senate and that both United States Senator Burr and Tillis voted on in the great state of North Carolina. We're going to be talking about their votes. We're going to be talking about the amendment that will be up as well. And we're going to be talking about what that looks like for traditional and biblical marriage as this Marriage Protection Act is pushed through. So we're going to be talking about that. And that is in coordination with everything that Candace Cameron has been under attack this whole week, as she has come to the forefront talking about traditional marriage and her commentary with Great American Christmas movies that she is producing with the Great American Media Company. And she's getting a lot of backlash from a lot of those in Hollywood who do not like the fact that she's for traditional marriage. Well, we're going to be talking about that. What does that mean to you? And as we head into the second half, Dr. Mark Harris is going to brief us on what has been happening in Capitol Hill, what's happening next for the states. Are the states going to be taking more control of the Marriage Act? What does that look like for us, everyday citizens, as we travel, as we go from state to state? Is my husband and I going to be recognized as a traditional marriage, or are we going to be censored and sidelined and not recognized anymore because of this Marriage Act? That is the big question. So we're going to be talking a lot this morning about those hot button items, those issues. In that, I wanted to, tell you, I am going over my kitchen table list as we get ready for the Christmas season. Don't forget, Monday, save the date. Monday, November the 21st, Selena Gonzalez, my faithful virtual assistant, who is a military spouse at Camp Lejeune, she's going to be joining us on camera. We're going to be live from my home. We are going to be live from my Christmas kitchen, all things Christmas. We are going to be talking about Christmas movies, Christmas music, Christmas traditions, holiday food traditions, the kind of traditions that you would instill that you and your family have done over the years, Christmas ornaments, and then also ugly sweater contest. We're going to be doing that. We will be revealing our ugly sweaters. And yes, the ladies at Walmart loved me yesterday when they saw me going through the line. And they said, "You must love Christmas." And I said, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do. How did you know?" Anyway, so that will be Monday. It'll be a fun episode talking about all the important things that the holiday season means to you, means to me, means to our families. And also as we head into travel, I know everyone has already started traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday. I want to send out wishes of safety and prayers to each and every one of you. And just also send us your stories. Send us some of your adventures as you were traveling. I love traveling adventures. I love talking with people about their traveling adventures. You just never know what you're going to find. I love hearing those stories, and I call them, as you hear the God wink stories. They are God wink stories. So I'm excited for you guys to share those stories with us as we come to your homes on Monday, November the 21st. And also, just to let you know, the podcast will be off the air for the rest of next celebrate Thanksgiving and celebrating being with their families. But have no fear, my friends. We will be back we'll be back on Monday, November 28th. And I tell you what, we have some great new guests, new faces coming to you. They are all about kids books. They are all about talking about business season. They are talking about holiday traditions. They're talking about service and giving back. Service and giving back is very much an important piece of my show. And I have a servant's heart, and I will be the first to tell you I love being on the ground serving. I love serving a community. I love serving our military, our veterans, our homeless population. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up with the busyness of school, busyness of the day, busyness of work, that sometimes we just are left energy without any energy to do anything else. But I want to encourage you, if you have even 5 minutes to sit down and just pray for organizations like the Bowery Mission, they're going to be serving more than 50,000 homeless people in New York City on Thanksgiving Day. The power of prayer is powerful. So if you have time, just take a few minutes and pray for your staff, their team, the homeless of New York. These are people who do not get very much. A lot of them live in the subways, a lot of them are living in tent communities, and a lot of them are just living in the city streets. So I encourage you to take a few moments to do that. And I also want to just encourage you just to really focus on some local groups. I'm going to be putting out a press release that I will share with you guys on Monday, and it has a lot to do with really focusing on giving back to the local community. And I would love, love, love for you guys to get involved and just to really kind of think about ways that we can serve, whether it's children, whether it's retirees, whether it's the elderly, whether it's the military, whether it's the veterans. And so we're going to be doing that as well. And so I am also just messaging Melanie to make sure that we are good to go. And I also wanted to share with you a couple other things. I have my list of book recommendations for your stocking stuffers. And so as I'm moving around, getting everything ready, I have here the first book I would love to send out to each and every one of you. And that is Good Boundaries and Goodbyes. This is a phenomenal new book by Lisa Turkis. It just came out. She is on her book tour. No, I am not representing her. I would love to. This book is phenomenal. It's all about God's best for you and also God's best. And guess what? Boundaries are God's boundaries. And God calls us to have boundaries. And I know I'm speaking to me right now. I know that is a huge thing for me. I'm a yes, yes, yes person, and it's hard for me to say no to people. So I would highly recommend you get this. Go to Amazon. It's a cheap buy. It's a great buy. Also, one other book before we bring over Melanie Collette. His Child is by Marcy Friesner. She is local to the Eastern North Carolina area. It's a 40-day devotional. So if you are looking to find a great stocking stuffer, this is your book. It has 40 days of devotions, and it's really focused on, and also, I'll just say this, every bit of this, all the proceeds go to different organizations that are fighting human trafficking, that are fighting mental health issues. She is an educator in the Eastern North Carolina area. I highly recommend that. On that note, we're about to talk about some savings and some dollars and putting money back in your pocket. As I told you, and I've been prepping for this show, I'm so excited to bring back to the show Melanie Collette. Good morning. How are you?
Your girl is seriously riding the struggle bus today. Now, you know I'm supposed to be in my office. You see I'm home, right?
Yeah, are you okay?
I'm fine, but my sleep was trash last night.
Oh no, what happened?
I woke up, listen, I was like, I have a long day tomorrow. I'm going to get to bed early, which I did. I fell asleep at like 9:30. I was good to go. Unfortunately, I woke up at like 1:30. And then the next thing I know, Fox and Friends first was coming on.
Oh
You know,
no.
it comes on at 4, right?
Yeah, I know it does. Oh, honey.
I'm still wide awake, and I'm like, okay, so do I get up and start working? Like, what do I do? And then Fox and Friends came on, and next thing I know, I'm out.
Oh no. Are you going to go into work after this?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I I thought I was gonna go in the office at 7. Fortunately, my hours are kind of fluid. But my goal was to go in at 7 this morning. And so I woke up at like 20 minutes to 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can I wear my pajamas on Eden Show?
Oh my gosh. You know what? If you want to come on the show on Monday, we're doing ugly sweaters for the Christmas special on Monday. So if you want to come back and wear Christmas pajamas, you are so welcome to do that.
I looked down and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Let's try to pull this together in 20 minutes. This is gonna be interesting, but okay. Try to make myself look like a little something but the struggle was real.
Have you had any coffee yet? Oh, thank goodness.
That's
Oh,
why I was like 2 minutes late getting into the studio there, the backstage,
oh.
because yeah, I had to get the coffee. I had to get my coffee game up. I don't think your audience wanted to hear from me without my coffee.
Well, I'm so thankful you're here. I freaked out for a hot second. Yesterday, I had a guest that was scheduled to join. She joined and saw that we were live, and she hung up on me. Yes, she said she's not allowed to do live interviews, only pre-recorded. And I said, what? And the organization I love, I'm not going to say their name on air. I love the organization and I would do just about anything for them. But I had that moment of, no, I've been teeing you up all week. Oh, dear God, no, let her be awake.
Not allowed?
Oh my gosh, yes, that happened. So you know what? The whole audience, that a great audience of support here at Common Sense America, they got to hear all of my Christmas rants and readiness for what's ahead and my excitement for Christmas and all of that. So you know what? You just grab the coffee and you have coffee talk at the kitchen table.
You have to be ready for that. It happens. I mean,
It
it
happens.
happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
No.
I've had it happen before. It's not fun when a guest ditches you, but I've had it happen. Had it happen on my show for sure. I usually over prepare, and you know that they get to hear me talk about the topic instead of the guest. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my computer has all of these things open, all these links open. Boom, boom, boom. So
hey,
I just did that. But anyway, I'm glad you're okay.
yeah, no, I'm good. I wasn't okay, and you know I found my alarm is on my phone, and I was like, what happened? And I found my alarm. My phone was like on the floor on snooze, and I was like, when did I hit snooze? I don't understand what happened. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and I must have literally just passed out because
Yeah, seriously. Well, you know what? I'm glad we're upon Thanksgiving and a Thanksgiving break. I'm noticing that people are already on travel and holiday travel and on their way to their destinations. And so maybe you'll get some. Are you gonna get rest as well and kind of chill
I
out?
am on the 25th. My
Uh-huh.
sister and I will be off to Fort Lauderdale
Oh, nice.
because on the 27th we will be off to a 7-day cruise to St. Martin and the DR and St. Thomas.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I am yes, we are going to be resting. It's going to be a good time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just a little jealous. Just a little jealous. That
yeah.
sounds amazing. Oh,
We're
that's
pretty excited. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I've been teeing you up all week about your amazing budget skills. And the kitchen table topics are travel savings, also
Yes.
Black Friday sales, also 2023 projections as the government continues to take our money away. So how do we save as we head into 2023 in this very dark winter where president doesn't even know where he is and he falls asleep at the podium? So what do we do about that? And that's
My
called cow plop. I'm coming up with new words. Instead of crap, I'm saying cow plop.
That's good. That's good.
Like,
My sister commented to me the other day that my profanity has been much better since I left teaching. And I used to say that one of the things that I didn't like about teaching was that I thought that my mouth, my potty mouth, had been much
mhm.
worse. And part of the reason was because I was around it so much.
Yeah.
I referred to it as a cesspool. When you
Yeah.
just hear that language all the time,
Yep.
it's hard to
Yep.
not use that language.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. And inflate your Thanksgiving dinner is up overall 20% because of inflation. 20%.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
a lot of money when you consider, if you're having just a family of 8. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but like my family is super huge.
Yeah.
So when we tend to do Thanksgiving together, it's more
Yeah.
than 8 people.
Yeah.
It can definitely be up to 20 or 30 people. I have, if we do once you invite, one family and you do like their kids, if you just do my aunt and my uncle and their kid, my
Mhm.
mom and us, her kids, and then my sister's kids, that's 2 more.
That's a lot. So
You know
you're
what I
saying
mean? Uh,
so
Right,
you're
and
saying
then my
20%.
my mom's sister, my mom's sister is deceased, but you invite her kids, obviously,
Mhm.
and her kids have kids. Like,
Mhm.
it gets to be a lot of people.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It gets to be a lot of money. So what a lot of people are doing, I saw a meme yesterday. It was so funny. I don't know how much is true now. Now, don't nobody think this is racist. It's a joke. But it was a meme that said white people Thanksgiving and black people Thanksgiving, and the white people Thanksgiving had like a really short list of like what's on the list, and the black people Thanksgiving had a really, really, really long list. They had like on the black people list, like ramen noodles was on the list, like
Oh my
ridiculous stuff.
god.
But it's true. Like we have so much stuff at our Thanksgiving, and I've quite frankly been to both. I've been to my own family Thanksgiving. I've been to my white friends Thanksgiving, and that's quite frankly been my experience. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But my point in saying that is that a lot of people what they're doing is instead of having say 8 sides, they're cutting
Mhm.
it down to 4
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
Some people are doing a non-traditional type
Mhm.
Thanksgiving and maybe not even doing the turkey thing.
Yeah.
Maybe doing pizza, something like that.
Yeah.
Something way less expensive, but or cutting down the number of people that they're having at their Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe
Mhm.
just having, pardon me, maybe just having their immediate family
Right.
at their Thanksgiving dinner so that they can cut down on their savings.
Right.
As far as Christmas goes, they're doing, maybe a secret Santa as opposed to, or a Pollyanna as
Yeah.
opposed to doing a gift for each and every person
Right.
to, mitigate the cost to everyone.
Right. Right. So you're saying 20%, you said?
Yeah. And that's a lot.
20%. Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner is pricey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, my mother is doing Thanksgiving meal, and all of the audience out there is going to get to see some of her famous recipes that she doesn't tell anybody. So we're going to be doing those. But she decided she's not going to do a full-on turkey, and I don't even like the smell or even the look or even be near turkey. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have never been able to do turkey. I do not like turkey, and
Well,
I said.
you
And,
have to.
and so that'll help with cost, right? Let's get a little ham. Let's get a little chicken breast or something like that. She's gonna do her creamed mushrooms. She's gonna do her sweet potatoes. She's gonna do her stuffing and her mashed potatoes. But the turkey thing that actually could reduce cost, right? Because turkeys are pretty expensive.
It could. Now, ma'am, if you go to depending on the type of well melanated friends Thanksgiving you go to, you
Mhm.
might get some chitterlings, as I
What's
call
that?
them. Now,
What's
if you're
that?
from the South, chitlins, they call them. Now, I'm
So
gonna tell you, some of your listeners are probably laughing their heads off right now. Uh, they are pig intestines.
ew! Oh, gross!
Now,
Oh,
the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is because if you think that you don't like the smell of
turkey.
turkey,
Oh my gosh.
ask some of your friends. You're from the South. You live in the South, right?
I'm not from the South. I live in the South. I'm
Right.
not
Well,
from the South.
you
I'm
ask.
a northern girl in a southern
Okay.
world.
Well, here's what I'm gonna implore you to do. Ask some of your Southern friends about the
Okay.
chitterlings.
Okay. I'll ask my husband. I bet you he
I'll
knows.
bet he knows. Ask about the lovely aroma of the chitterlings as
Are
they
they
cook.
cheap? Is it a cheaper way to eat Thanksgiving or is it
Well,
just
well, to be honest, this is what they used to feed the slaves back in the day,
oh,
and it's like the leftovers of the pig. And
oh,
some black folks, for some reason, still eat that mess. Uh, but yeah, and for Thanksgiving, I
wow.
don't eat them. But I do recall, my family is originally from Virginia, like my great grandparents, and I do recall being down south for Thanksgiving and smelling the horrific smell.
Oh, it's that bad. Okay.
Awful.
Yeah.
But some
Okay.
people still eat them and swear that they're delicious.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. All
Ask
right.
about it.
Okay.
But
I'll ask hubby about it. He's gonna watch this evening. He's outside. He's out doing his fishing nets, commercial fishing nets, getting fish, fish, fish,
ask
fish.
about it. He's probably going to laugh. But
Yeah,
ask
I know he
about it
will.
because
I
you're
know
like,
he
oh, I
will.
can smell a turkey.
So
Okay.
let me ask you this. So that's our turkey meal, and that's also good to know as we head into Christmas too, because clearly the cost of the food is not going down thanks to Biden right now. So let's talk about Black Savings Sales. I looked at my email this morning. Macy's, K Spade, Belk, Zabar's, you name it, Coach, all of them. They are pushing Black Friday sales now, and I even went into Walmart the other day to get my ugly sweater for Monday, and that place was packed, and it wasn't even a weekend. And they had Black Friday sales. Belk last weekend, 65% off.
I was going to say they're doing it earlier and earlier
Yeah.
because I believe like the majority of retail sales are made during that time period.
Yeah.
During the Christmas season is
Right.
when the majority of retail sales are made, but they seem to be hitting it earlier and earlier. Like even Halloween was barely in the books before
Yeah.
the Christmas decorations were up, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I think I was in Big Lots a couple of weeks ago, and the Christmas stuff was already out.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're not. I rebuke the Christmas decorations. Just like when I was a teacher, I rebuked the back to school decorations. In June. What are we doing? No,
So you don't like my Christmas tree behind me
no,
then?
no. I gave you a waiver.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this whole house is macked out for Christmas.
I even loved your pictures on social media, your Christmas, because you look so adorable. I couldn't not.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
just look like a Hallmark card, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Now I'm calling it Great American Christmas Card because Hallmark is going too woke on me. So I'm
Yeah,
switching everything up to Great American Christmas.
I like it. I like it. You
Yeah.
could do your own line with just you on the front, like Oprah does. Like you know how Oprah just puts herself like you gotta have like great self-esteem to do that, right? But I think like you should do that. Like you're like Great American Christmas cards, and it's
Uh-huh.
just like you every card is just you in front of a tree, you
That's a
holding the mug.
great idea.
Like, I think it would sell. I think you could do that.
You want to be my branding? You want to do my branding for me?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I have to say thank you. I stalk you on social media, even though we're friends. Thank you so much for promoting Common Sense America. It means so much to me that you're doing that.
I
Thank you.
have to, because it's good stuff, man.
Well, thank you. I've had so many people in the short 3 months of this show say, how in the world do you get such amazing guests? And I said, it's because I've had such an amazing career and I know so many wonderful people and so many powerful women who have surrounded me and my tribe. And you are one of them. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, sugar.
Yeah, I mean it. I mean it. I so mean it. Okay, so talk to me about this. I was just talking about stocking stuffers before you came over, showing some of my favorite books. But talk to me about some. I did put up here. I'm going to put this up. This is a brand new book by Lisa Turkis. She is a faith-based author out of Matthews, North Carolina. She started the Proverbs 31 Ministries, I believe.
Nice.
Good boundaries and goodbyes.
And I'll tell you what, that scripture, Proverbs 31, in my opinion, is one of the most mistaught scriptures ever.
Yes.
I mean, am I wrong about that?
You're not wrong about that.
One of the most misused. Like, I love how they totally skip over 1 through 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But what I love, I'm going to be having Dr. Mark Harris on to talk scripture after your segment about the Marriage Act that just was passed and about Senators Burr and Tillis talking about how they voted for it. And I'm sitting here banging my fists, banging my knuckles on the doors of anybody who will listen. What about biblical marriage? What about traditional marriage? Are we going to be left behind, especially with Candace Cameron coming out this week saying Great American Christmas, Great American Media is focused on faith and biblical values. And so as we're talking about biblical values and we're talking about the Proverbs 31 woman, that's a huge concern to me. That's a huge concern to me. And, Dr. Mark Harris with Family Research Council said to me, he said, thank you for being so bold in your faith to talk about this. A lot of people are afraid to.
I don't know how you feel about this, but in my opinion, I'm wondering if the government should just completely stay out of the marriage game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've heard other people say that, and I do agree on that.
Like, okay, if you want to deal with the legalities of a partnership, then let people have legal partnerships where you want to give someone the legal right to be in the room during my hospital stay and make legal decisions for you. I mean, that could be like some people trust their sister to make those decisions more than her husband. Give your sister the right to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do know what you're saying.
Have a civil union if you want. To me, marriage is a spiritual relationship.
Yeah.
That was made by God, right?
Yes. It is very biblical. It was made by God.
Like, why is the government even involved in that at all?
See, that's the bigger question. The government is too much involved in our day-to-day lives. The government needs to step aside. It needs to be power back to the states in many senses. And here's my bigger concern. Separate from the legalities piece. Why in the world do the cowplops of Hollywood have to go and name call Candace Cameron and call her a bigot for standing up for traditional marriage? What is their problem? Why are they getting so defensive? That's my problem. That's my issue. I'm sick of the name calling.
Because the thing is, I don't understand. Like, are we inclusive or not?
Right.
That's what I like. If you're going to include everybody, let's be inclusive. Why are you insisting? And this is what I don't understand. Like, why are you insisting that all churches do what you want us to do? Why are you insisting on that? If you don't like to me, it's also like these exclusive clubs that don't want women.
Right.
Let men have their men stuff. Like, I don't. I really don't care. If there's an all exclusive men's golf club,
Yeah.
Let them have their. It's like it's like women going into a barber shop. Like, you know,
Yeah. I
you don't belong. You don't. There's places we don't belong, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just get concerned that at the end of the day, it's these snotty-nosed Hollywood elites thinking that they can dominate and depict society and the content. And yet, my husband and I walk into a certain location. Yeah, we may be in the South, but wherever we are, I want us to be recognized as husband and wife. And I
right.
don't, and that I don't want us to lose that. I don't want us to be censored by these Hollywood elites thinking that they know better. I don't, because they don't. And neither does the Senate or the House for that matter, and our sleeping president. But what I do know is biblical and is truth, and that is a marriage between a man and a woman. And I want to be able to defend myself and my husband if we would go into a certain location. Oh, we no longer service traditional marriage, biblical marriage. I'm calling it out there because that's how crazy these Hollywood people are, as they have been bombarding Candace Cameron for standing up for what she believes in.
Right. And I don't think that I don't think what we're saying is that we don't want. Let listen. My belief is what you do is between you and your God, because ultimately we all going to have to be accountable,
Right,
right?
we are. Right.
Individually, we're going to
Yeah.
be standing alone.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
So what y'all do is what you do, but what
Mhm.
you're going to do is leave us alone.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
you're not going to demand that we acquiesce to what
Mhm.
you're doing.
Mhm.
We don't
Yeah.
want to acquiesce to what you're doing, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to. We're
Right.
not asking you to acquiesce to what we're doing.
Right. Right. Right.
We're not asking you to acquiesce to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Don't ask us to acquiesce. We know who we are.
Right. What and the other thing I'm asking is, and I know that we've totally gotten off topic because I wanted to do kitchen table budgeting, but
Oh, yeah, we sure did. I'm sorry.
oh, no. I mean, I've been hyped up about this all week. And, I've had people private message me and, just say, keep pushing. Your convictions are powerful. People need to hear this. And that's the other piece of it. Have we forgotten about how to critical think? To really think through some of these issues, to talk these issues out. I know there are a lot of people that don't agree with me. They're still friends of mine. They're not going to not be friends of mine because I love them for who they are. I have many friends in New
Yes.
York that live in a
Yeah.
certain lifestyle I don't agree with. They know it, but I still love them.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
they don't impose their lifestyle on me, and I don't impose my own lifestyle on them.
Well, there's some people who are a little left of that thinking
Mm-hmm.
that view the fact that we even think that way as hate.
Yeah, I know.
And that is a shame,
Yeah.
because it's certainly not hate.
No, it's not.
It's
Furthest thing
certainly
from it.
not hate. It's just a fundamental disagreement on beliefs.
Mhm.
And if we are going to be inclusive, then in my opinion, there has to be room for both.
Yeah. Yeah. And this day and time, yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, and when you consider the times that we're living in
Mhm.
as Christians, then we have to understand that these things are going to exist,
Yeah.
and we have to understand how to exist with both
Right.
peacefully until Jesus comes back.
Yeah, and that's going to be soon. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. And I'm not being light on that. I really feel it. I really feel it.
Yeah,
But
but I think the government needs to get out of the marriage business altogether.
I think they need to get out of a lot of businesses.
Yeah,
Especially and let's go back to our pockets. They need to get out of my pocket, your pocket, and every other pocket. I am
we have to.
fed up with the Fed, fed up with our elected officials. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. I'm sick of you all because you're allowing this cow plop to happen. So what do we do? What do we do?
Even though the Republicans got the House back, the only thing they're going to be able to do, and I hate to say this, like everybody that's oh so happy about Kevin McCarthy being the speaker, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not hyped about that. I don't think that he showed great leadership over the past couple of years. I didn't think that he stood up and spoke out when he should have. So I'm not hyped about that. I think we're going to have, just a stalemate of a government and probably not get a lot done legislatively.
Yep.
Maybe he'll be able to put a stop to some inflationary measures that the Biden administration had in mind. And maybe inflation will go down a bit. But, even right now, we're kind of like, oh, inflation's gone down from 8% to 7%. Yeah, but it was 1% 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you that. Do you think people are tightening their purse strings because of that during the holiday season? Or do you think people are just maxing out their credit cards and using up their savings to really get through the holiday season? Because that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid is happening.
And we're first of all, people keep saying, the media is saying we're leading to a recession. And that's terrible that they're saying we're leading to a recession, because we are, and I said it, I think on the last show, we are in a textbook recession already. And it's not good to keep telling the public that we're not in a recession, because we are in a recession.
Right.
And if you look at what big corporations are doing, they are already tightening their belts. Amazon is laying people off.
I saw that.
Christmas, when usually what Amazon is doing is hiring this close to the Christmas season.
So what does that tell you? Yeah.
When a company like Amazon is laying people off instead of hiring around the Christmas season, that is not good news.
That's very telling, especially with being Amazon.
Right. That's exactly right. So, when I heard that, my tummy kind of sank a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's not what Amazon is normally doing around Christmas time.
Right.
They're normally like saying all hands on deck, because it's Christmas time, we're going to be really busy. And that is not what they're saying. So, but I'll tell you, at least it's been I don't have kids. Yeah. So I don't know what it's like, but it's been my experience that just parents in this day and age don't know how to say no, don't know how to say the budget is tight, so we're not going to have as much this Christmas, whatever. And they will just, do whatever to make their kids happy during Christmas. And I think they're going to overextend. And if you look at the financial websites and things like that, that's what's being reported, is that people are extending their credit. And they're borrowing more money, and that is bad news.
So on your Dear Santa list, I have one final question for you. Yes, on your Dear Santa list, what is your top wish? Think about that for a second.
Like, materially?
I would say across the board, because you have your radio show, your podcast, 98.7 The Coast. You are a commentator on Newsmax. You are out there. You are in front. You are talking about the big budget issues of today. What is affecting our economy? What's affecting the American family? What is affecting our kitchen tables? So your Dear Santa list, as I put you in my my Instagram story this morning, having a Dear Santa list right next to you, what would you think about?
I will tell you, this is gonna sound kind of crazy and a little emotional. My mom was diagnosed with cancer last week, and
Melanie,
my prognosis is good, but my Christmas wish would be for her to go through her treatment well. And I was in the appointment with the doctor. She said it's not a death sentence. This is very treatable, and you can do well. And so my Christmas wish is that she does.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, well, you know what? As the Bowery mission inspired us earlier this week, being a beacon of light and hope, prayer is the first thing. So
Yes,
let's do
indeed.
it.
Yep.
Let's
So
do it.
that's it.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to let you get to work. Get some coffee in you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second cup before I get off to work.
All right. I love you, my friend. Thank you so
Love you
much
too.
for being here. Melanie Collette, host Money Talk with Melanie, Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Join her on 98.7 The Coast. You do not want to miss her budget and financial projections for 2023 and her recommendations to keep money in your pocket. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon. Bye, my friend.
Bye.
For all those who are tuning in, this is Common Sense America. I am Eden Hill, and I am so honored to bring over to the show this morning Dr. Mark Harris. He is with the Family Research Council. He is the Vice President for the Association of Churches and Ministries. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing, Eden?
Good. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for joining.
Well, it's great to see you, and I appreciate the opportunity and invitation.
Oh, well, thank you. As I expressed to you my deep concern for what is happening at the highest levels of government with regards to the Marriage Protection Act, Melanie Collette and I had a brief conversation about it, and we were talking more on the critical thinking aspect and also on the second aspect of why does government need to even be involved at this highest level with regards to marriage across the board? But first, I want to just get your analysis with you working with Family Research Council and your take on what happened this week, especially as it affects the state of North Carolina, knowing Burr and Tillis did vote on this bill. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I would say my initial thoughts are extreme disappointment. I think it is has been a sad week for what we have seen unfold in the United States Senate. I know that there was a tremendous effort that a number of pastors and churches, we were involved in pastors in a number of states that were reaching out to their U.S. senators. We were concerned. Tony Perkins, our president, I think saw these things coming weeks ago. We started to begin to talk about the lame duck session, and this being kind of the first priority that the left seemed to have in taking a stack of bills that had made it through Nancy Pelosi's House over to the Senate, but due to the filibuster, had not been able to really move forward. And it seemed the strategy was developing quickly with Chuck Schumer that he would stand a better chance picking off 10 Republicans immediately following the election. And sure enough, their strategy, worked. But it is extremely disappointing. This is not what we elected our United States senators to do.
One thing that really disappointed me was we know that Burr's on his way out. We know Senator-elect Ted Budd's coming in. And it looked as though to me, when I looked at the list of those who supported this act, there's half of them are on their way out. And what does that say to the American people when they vote in these senators, their elected officials? Do they just stop caring after a certain point? Do they just are like, oh, all right, I'm just checking the box, signing off papers, getting out of here? That's how it looked. And
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's the old saying, the proof is in the pudding. I mean,
yeah,
it's who you are when you think nobody's looking that really reveals who you are. And this obviously is something that they do not take seriously. They did not respond. I know specifically 42 pastors in North Carolina from churches that signed a letter directly to Senator Tillis and to Senator Burr, urging them to please do not support this, we call it the Disrespect for Marriage Act, moving it forward. Now, I will say just a bit of good news.
yes,
Senator Tim Lee, I'm sorry, Mike Lee of Utah
likely.
has been a champion for marriage, and he is a constitutional wizard and has certainly built that reputation effectively. He has reminded us that there will be two more threshold votes
Okay.
before this actually passes. So they've got to reach that 60 vote threshold
Okay.
at least 2 more times.
Okay.
Now they needed a simple majority last night in a vote they took before they adjourned for Thanksgiving. But they will come back, and right now are scheduled for the 28th of November.
Okay.
It's my understanding that Mike Lee just simply wants his amendment to be voted on and to be included in this bill. He goes a step further in trying to protect the adoption agencies, the foster care process. You know, the whole thing about this, Eden, is it has brought us to a point that nobody, or at least these 12 Republicans and their Democratic counterparts, do not understand that the religious freedom is about the individual, not just an institution. And they try to address institution while leaving out our individual rights and our individual freedoms. And that's a problem. And I think Mike Lee's amendment is wanting to move toward dealing with that, if that's what he was going to have to deal with. But we're trying to hope and pray, and I'm just calling on all of your listeners to pray that God would move on at least 3 of these 12 and bring them back across. I mean, Senator Young of Indiana
Yes.
was certainly
Yes.
a disappointment and a
Yes.
surprise.
Agree.
We had gotten an actual text from a group of pastors that met with Senator Capito from West Virginia,
Yes.
and she had told them in a Zoom call on, I guess it was actually Monday, that she had received overwhelming response from her citizens in West Virginia opposed to this. And we kind of took that as a good sign. And then she turned right around and voted for it to proceed with it. And so we know that there's some that are wrestling. Joni Ernst was another huge.
I was surprised. I was surprised by that one.
So we're praying if just 3 of them can maybe see the light. Maybe they weren't briefed on it well. Maybe their staffs didn't give them what they needed. But when they stop and think about it this week, when they're back home for Thanksgiving, and they start hearing from people, I really believe there is a shot that since it takes 2 more threshold votes, that if just 3 of them will step back, that it could perhaps stop. The Lord can do all things, and that's where we placed our trust.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, when I looked at the list, I'm a huge fan and follower of Young. Before when he was congressman, I know he's a Naval Academy grad. Joni Ernst has been a huge support to my veteran work, and I'm very respectful of her being a combat veteran. But I was taken aback by their movement in this. And my first thought was follow the money. And then my second thought was perhaps the young staff members, like I used to be myself, did not have the best information, did not provide the best information. And I want to give that benefit of the doubt, but also through that prayer. And like you said, as they go home for Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving break, the movement of the Spirit for them to see things that they may have not seen while they were in Capitol Hill. Because you know how the Beltway sucks you in and you kind of lose touch with reality. Also, let me talk to you about this. I've been watching this story all week. I used to be a fan of Hallmark, and I'm not anymore. And I have been really urging my audience to download the Great American Media communicate app for their phones following Great American Christmas. And what I have admired about Bill Abbott as he left Hallmark because he wanted to start a great traditional family-friendly type environment. And Candace Cameron has been under attack this whole week with regards to her stance on traditional marriage. And Hollywood and the Hollywood elites have come out and started, saying
calling her a bigot and just really destroying what traditional marriage stands for. And I've been talking about this all week, really wanting just to knock down some doors and really have true conversations about traditional marriage. And my concern is with this Marriage Act and government, again, being involved in so much of our personal lives. My question to you is, as traditional marriage, as my husband and I are traditional marriage, we follow biblical marriage, are we going to be censored more and more as this act potentially goes through? Obviously, you said Mike Lee has those amendments, but my bigger concern is what would be ahead for traditional marriage? Are we going to have to continue to fight in the public square for our beliefs? Are we going to be even recognized, whereas everything else is now?
Oh, yeah. I think you ask a great question. I do think, when all of this started with this act, the Congress wanted to do it. Everybody just said, well, they're simply going to codify the Obergefell decision.
Mhm.
But when you really dig down into it and you really read what was in this bill, it is Obergefell on steroids. It does open the door, and that's the point that Senator Lee has been fighting over and over again. It will open the door for your church to eventually lose their tax exempt status. I'll just be honest. What I picture is that for the first time in history, that the United States Congress, which, the whole homosexual movement, the trans movement, all of that's been around for decades.
Yes.
And no matter how hard they've tried, they've never been able to get something like this through the United States Congress. They just haven't. And now they have. And what that brings to mind is this is crossing, if this continues on and passes, it is crossing a line that I don't think any of us truly know what's going to be on the other side, because it does open the door for these 87,000 additional IRS agents to come knocking on your church door. It provides the opportunity for them to come and ask to see a copy of my church's constitution where I pastor. And when we added a bylaw to our constitution and bylaws that stated that we would not perform same-sex ceremonies in our church, when they see that, are they going to immediately, under federal law now, accuse us of discrimination and therefore yank your tax exempt status? We've all been saying for years that was going to eventually come somewhere down the line, and we just have to be ready for that and fine. But to your point, yes, I do think there will be the continued movement of the cancel culture, because no longer is it just we want you to not discriminate. They're asking people to celebrate that which we believe the Bible is clear in calling it sin. And so the cancel culture is here to stay. And I think so as Christians, we are going to have to continue to have the courage and to operate without fear, and to continue to elect leaders who their walk matches their talk. And that's it, more important now than ever. We at least have a system in place where our voices can be heard at the ballot box. But I think it's more important than ever that people really examine things for what they are and people for who they say they are versus their actions. And that would be my response.
Well, I was noticing in your bio, and I wanted to ask you about this from the state perspective for us living here in the state of North Carolina. I noticed that it stated that you worked diligently to help lead the passage of the North Carolina Marriage Amendment in 2012. And you were the founding member of the Vote for Marriage North Carolina organization. So let me ask you this. That was in 2012. Did you foresee any of this happening? And did you even have an inkling that we would be where we are at today as you are working on that during that time period? And then my second question is, as we are in the state of North Carolina, what can we do as a state, Christian conservatives who believe in biblical marriage? What can we do to really pound the doors down of our local officials and our state officials to kind of wake the giant and shake the giant up a little bit and really get into interface with those we've elected, we the people. We have the voice. And are they going to open the doors to us to really fight for this?
Well, I do. And to your first question, no, I did not envision that within 10 years' time, from 2012 to 2022, that we would be where we are today, and that the United States Congress has passed or is moving toward passage of a law such as this. I did not see that. I frankly was shocked when within less than 24 months after the passage of it, a federal judge. But we've all seen what the courts have done.
Right.
But it's one thing when the courts do it. And, we lived with Roe for 49 years before another court came along and overturned it with the Dobbs case. So it's one thing when a court does it. It is an entirely different thing when Congress makes a statute, federalizes something like this. And that's what I think is so dangerous and so sinister about this action right now. And I just don't think that the leadership there and the Republican Party of the United States Senate has understood that role marriage plays. It is so foundational in our culture.
Yes.
It just
it really is.
And when you lose it, you lose a society
Yes.
as a whole. But to answer your other question, what can we do in North Carolina? The one thing I will say this, the one thing that the Supreme Court has now demonstrated that we have is a court that does believe in the power of the state to make decisions on certain things. And I do think that it, just as we saw on the life issue, it is now, it is just absolutely critical that you and I and all of the folks that are on listening into us this morning are pounding the doors of our state legislators and letting them know that North Carolina needs to pass laws that will protect marriage. We need to be thinking about these issues every time a decision is made, because again, if it comes down to a battle between the state and the federal, the Supreme Court is going to look at it. And could this be something that they'll say the states have had the right to regulate marriage? It's a new day with the Supreme Court we now have. I don't ever believe that this particular Supreme Court had Obergefell come to them now instead of back in 2015, that you would have gotten the same decision.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's something to be considered. Our state legislators have got to hear from us.
Yeah, I had as we've been talking about pro-marriage and pro-family, I had Dr. Matthew Harrison on earlier this week talking about the fact, and also North Carolina Right to Life last week, talking about the fact that Florida is where woke goes to die, but North Carolina is where babies come to die. Unborn babies come to die. And it is, and between the fight for marriage, the fight for family, the fight for life, we have the times now for such a time as this. We, the American people, we, those who still believe and who are not going to be sitting on our tokuses day in and day out, watching things unfold and complaining and not doing anything. We need to go to Raleigh. We need to be knocking on those doors, and we need to be shaking up some things. I dare say, stop passing around your candy and really focus on what is actually really happening here. And it's very concerning to me, very concerning.
And my role that I play at FRC is and I hold very much a strong responsibility for the pastors in this state to be willing to speak on these issues. Our people in the pew need to know what is happening and what. Listen, I took an interview with Mike Lee, which had happened like at 5 o'clock, and showed that interview at the Wednesday night Bible study at my church because our people needed to know what happened and they needed to know how they needed to respond. And because otherwise we're just kind of going through life. And there's certainly purpose in all of this happening when the holidays roll around and we become focused on so many other things. And this kind of stuff keeps going through.
Yes. Amen to that. On that final note, Dr. Mark Harris, I'm grateful for your work, grateful for your service, grateful for what you're doing with Family Research Council, and grateful for what you do for the great state of North Carolina. I look forward to having you back. Thank you so much for being here.
Eden, thank you. God bless you. Have a great
God bless you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll see you
You as
soon.
well. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For all those who are tuning in, this is Common Sense America. I am Eden Hill. What a fantastic way to end this week here at Common Sense America with Melanie Collette and also Dr. Mark Harris. Honored to have such amazing Americans who love this country come to this show, talk common sense, talk about the kitchen table discussions, talk about what is affecting our family, our faith, and our freedoms. On that note, save the date. I will see you Monday, November the 21st, right here, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Get your ugly sweaters on, people. We're going to have a little Christmas party. Celebrate the reason for Christmas, celebrate Thanksgiving, celebrate families, traditions, and most of all, God. We will see you then. Have a great weekend. Be strong, be courageous, be tenacious. Go get them.